My dear, dear friends out there all over the world, and maybe someone new who will join me on my channel. Welcome back. So since the whole world is talking about what happened during the Oscar, what can I say? Everything is already said, but since you ask, I will tell you very, very shortly my perspective to it. So Putin snapped, Will Smith snapped. Are we all going to snap? We do. We snapped many times. It's just most of us, we were more fortunate that it didn't happen in the public, in the flash and the spotlight and so on. And that makes me think, because the whole world is talking about it from the intellectual, mental perspective. What should be done? Is it wrong? What's wrong? How wrong it is? Yeah, sure. We all know that this is wrong. However, I have a feeling what's missing is this emotional feeling aspect. And another question I would like to ask and raise, because you see, we are all deeply feeling people. At least most of us. At least most of us are going to have certain reactions on something. And there is so much more than our eyes are seeing. Bacteria, viruses are there. We don't see it, but they are there. And I don't have to prove it, thankfully, in this time. Quantum physics talk about it, biology, psychology, and also my favorite from psychology is process-oriented psychology, that we are entering certain field of the feeling. Arnold Mindell called it being dreamt into something, into a feeling, into emotion, into a certain situation. And I would like to just mention what does it mean about our awareness of the world? What are we not seeing here? What really, really, really happened there? Because if we do not go into primary reason why something like that is even happening, then how can we even communicate? Because then we are very, very only staying on the intellectual level about it. And I can't wait for Red Table Talks that I watched a lot when I had time with Jada, of course, and I think she achieved their impossible. So talking about it, showing vulnerability, giving an example of her own family, I think it's not only great for others to give and set the example that it's possible to talk about it, to not kill each other, but talk about it and express a lot that people didn't express for years. And I am looking forward. I hope she will talk about it. So we all can get additional insight. And I hope Will Smith with Chris Rock will sit, and favorite people that I admire and watch so many times that will sit and talk about it. I'm looking forward, and I think the only one that can make it possible with that Red Table Table Talk, is Jada. I'm looking forward. So that's going to be very interesting. And I only would like to mention that when someone is an actor, we are dreamt into certain roles, and not always actors are coming out of right away, and they are feeling more deeply. The more they the better they are, actually, the more they are dreamt into certain roles. And if you see the body language and what Will Smith said, why he was picking up Oscar and thanking for it, he was comparing himself to a father, someone who was protective. That is a role, that is a certain role, not mentioning the movie he was playing in. But there is something more here. When you play someone, you enter the role of someone. We do that on the therapy, on the coaching too. And this person didn't express in their lifetime certain emotions, or didn't do something always wanted to do, but it wasn't appropriate, that's why I never did it. It's very likely that the person who plays your role will express it for you. It's like the energy field that will take you over, and in the moment that something will trigger, well, it was a joke, of course, this time, that will trigger, it will happen. And I'm not saying here in the terms of something is right or wrong, but why even that happened. I think if something like that happened between people that are, I believe, our friends, that's the best that could happen between those people. The impact of it is traumatic from many perspectives for all of them, because you know, in a process-oriented psychology, the roles like to exchange very quickly, so the oppressor becomes a victim and vice versa. And they are very, very fluid. And then you have the third party, an observer. And all these roles are exchanging. And I think perhaps, just perhaps, the world chose, maybe the energy of the world, maybe something bigger than we are. Maybe there is some intelligence in the world that picked those people who, in this current situation, in this current moment in history, could deal with that in the best possible way. And I'm very sorry it happened this way, but I think that these are the people that will be able to achieve impossible. And when I'm saying that, I'm feeling very, very thankful, because I believe they're going to talk about it, and they're going to find a conclusion for all of us. Tell me how many of us out there were in our life on both sides of the story, or an observer. How many times it happened to all of us. These situations are very, very traumatic, as you can already see, and you could maybe hear it in Chris Rock's voice, even though I love his jokes. And I love the way he's expressing it, and he puts everything into joke. And even when I'm talking about it, I feel sort of drummed up into the energy field, and I'm feeling deeply what happened there. And I hope that this will bring enormous change for the better for all of us. So if something happened, I always look from it how this terrible thing that happened can create something positive. What can we do about it? So that's just a very, very little about it from me. I recently had a wonderful workshops with mostly Polish people working with our ancestors, and I'm mentioning that here because, you see, we are not only acting on energy of ourselves, we are connected to our ancestry through psychobiology, genes, and so on. And only by acknowledging that and understanding what happened there, we can improve our life here and continue as a human beings, hopefully human beings, as some say. Okay. So I think this is it for today. We will continue in the small groups, and I think that's why the communities, small communities where people can talk and exchange ideas and inspire each other, how to go on, how to cope, are so, so important. On the Polish side, if someone is interested, we are dealing with so much more so many more apocalypses right now. I'm from Poland, if you don't know that already, if someone gravitate accidentally to my channel. We have the very, very tense situation in Poland, Ukraine, and I have friends from Ukraine, I have friends in Russia, I have many friends, and I like to see and view people as people, not where they're coming from. And many Polish people did me harm. Many other people were my friends and stayed my friends. So it's all about people, who we are, the quality of us, and what we are going to do. I think this is a great time in history to gain more consciousness and stop fighting for the wars that are not ours. And to do that, we need to be conscious. What role are we taking? Are we triggered by some role? Because we may harm someone who doesn't deserve that. That's just from me. And saying that, I am very curious what you're going to say to that. Yeah, I know the title maybe sounds funny. I'm sorry for this joke. Maybe I'm gonna pay for this joke. Maybe there will be consequences. I have no idea. But I never am into offending anyone. So saying that, I hope it's going to be enough. And I'm trying to support all the sides of the story. What is right, what is wrong. We know that, but the question is how we go forward, how we move forward. No, I wouldn't like to be joked about any of my medical condition. That's true. But at the same time, how do I go about it? What do I review? What do I say? I think it's the conversation is something more to talk about. So yeah, that's all sides of the story. I think there is more, but it's just a short video about that snapping. Like, we all have this great opportunity to realize more about ourselves. Where do we snap? How? Who sees that? And where we are victims of something that we never intended to harm anyone, but we are traumatized by something that happened to us. And where we are this observer in life, who sees that and gives attention to something that maybe should be organized between other people. There is another thing, just one more thing I want to tell you. One of the journalists said that it's a fault of Will Smith, who drew the whole attention to him and it ruined the Oscars. Well, what an observer, the public, what the media are doing from it, and how many more repeating the same scene over and over, showing it again and again. So I wouldn't say so. It was an incident, but it's up to us what we pay attention to, what not, to what degree, and how we go about it, right? I think so. Okay, this is it. Have a lovely, lovely day out there. Curious what you... Sorry for my voice. I talk a lot today. I did a lot of talking today. So I hope to read from you, hear from you. And thank you for any comment you put under this video. And of course, I proudly hear from you on WhatsApp. So bye-bye for now.